I want to supersize your vision today. Did you know that they say Americans think and plan 10 years ahead, but that the Japanese think and plan 100 years ahead? Well, I think that's too small. Hebrews 11:24-26 says, "By faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated along with the people of God rather than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He regarded disgrace for the sake of Christ as a far greater value than the treasures of Egypt because he was looking ahead to his reward." Now we know that Moses did amazing things for God. He helped bring the children of Israel out of slavery from Egypt, parted the Red Sea, took them through it. I mean, some incredible things. But before all of this, he was the adopted son of Pharaoh's daughter. He grew up in Egypt in luxury. He had the treasures of Egypt at his fingertips. Yet he gave all that up to be identified with Hebrew slaves. I mean, who gives up the palace for slavery? Well, somebody who has vision that goes beyond themselves and into the future. I want to take you back to the future.
Marty! You've got to come back with me. Where? Back to the future.
We have got to go way into the future. Moses was not concerned about Egypt and the temporary, short-lived pleasures of this world. He was looking beyond that, way beyond that. I want to suggest that we don't need to think 10 years or 100 years. We need to think 1,000 years. In other words, where will you be 1,000 years from now? Think about that question. Where will you be 1,000 years from now? Now, all of us will live for eternity. Where we're going to live for eternity is another matter. But 1,000 years from now, if we are living in the presence of God in heaven with our Maker and our Creator, our Father, what will we be thinking about? What will we be celebrating? Current soccer score, or what rugby team or football team is at the top at the moment? We're not going to be talking about those things. What will we be talking about? Now, if you were to think about where you're going to be in 1,000 years from now, would it shape the way that you live today? Well, it should. Would it shape the things that you think about today? Well, it should. How would it shape the way that you live and think? What would you start giving your life for? What would you start spending your time doing? Who would you spend your time doing it with, and for what reason? You see, to have an eternal perspective, where you will be in 1,000 years from now matters, and with that perspective, it starts to shape the way that you live today, and you begin to get a supersized vision and a supersized life that goes along with it. You need to answer that question. How would it change the way that you are living today? Because where you're going, you don't need roads.
Hey, Doc, you better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
We sometimes think we need roads to get us to where we're going, a clear path that we can follow. Well, that's thinking 10 years from now or 100 years from now. But if we think 1,000 years from now, if we have an eternal perspective, if we get that right first, then God opens up ways to get us to where He wants us to be that we could not have even dreamed of before. God wants to take you beyond where you are, but it starts with getting a vision to be beyond where you ever imagined, and that's an eternal perspective. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you did. Please subscribe below, turn the notification bell on, tell me what you think about what I said. And follow me on Facebook, Instagram. I'm out there on social media. Would love to know who you are. Let's engage. Thanks. I'm Drew Land, equipping you for a meaningful life.